It's the 14th century and you've just arrived in a medieval city. What will you see? How about some open sewers? No problem. Just step over those. And watch out for the horse dung. And don't forget to pay your 5 pence tax to the king, the queen, and the church. Now you're in. The first thing you'll notice are the smells. The stench of stale urine and unwashed bodies mingles with the aroma of wood smoke and roasting meat. You can smell the spices in the marketplace, the perfume of the tanneries, and the sweet scent of apples and sugar from the cider press and tavernas. Everywhere you'll hear hammering, sawing, shouting, dogs barking, children crying, and the constant rumble of carts and pack animals. The streets are filled with all kinds of people, merchants and their goods, nobles and beggars, young and old, healthy and sick, clergy and commoners. In this melting pot of humanity, anything can happen. A knight might challenge a fellow noble to a duel after a particularly vicious game of dice. A foot race could erupt into a riot. A beautiful woman could be kidnapped by a band of gypsies, or an angry mob could just as easily descend upon you if they think you've committed a crime, whether you have or not. One thing's for sure, life in a medieval city was never dull. It was an exciting, dangerous, unpredictable adventure. If you survived, you could make a fortune. But if you weren't careful, you might end up dead. Very dead. Here in the market, vendors hawk their wares to the crowds. A merchant displays his fine fabrics, while a fishmonger shows off his wares. A butcher with a bloody meat cleaver sings the praises of his sausages and pork pies. A tanner shouts for customers to come and get their freshly tanned leather goods. And a perfumer tries to convince passers-by that his shop doesn't actually stink. As you make your way through the throng, you might see a group of men playing a game of chess or checkers. A traveling musician strums a ballad on his lute. Two young lovers exchange vows as they plan to meet in secret later that night. And an old woman stirs a bubbling cauldron, muttering to herself about the price of chicken feed. Suddenly, a piercing scream cuts through the chatter. A woman has just been stabbed in the market, and now she lies bleeding on the ground. People scream and run for cover as her attacker stumbles away, wiping blood off his blade. A crowd quickly gathers around the dying woman. Some want to help, but it's too late. She's already dead. Others begin to point fingers, shouting for the guards to come and make an arrest. But the crowd is so dense the guards can't get through to help. They try to calm the mob, but tempers flare, and soon the crowd begins to riot. Looting and arson follow. The people are out of control. And then suddenly, just as quickly as it began, it's over. The guards disperse the crowd and restore order. Life in the city goes on as normal, except for the stench of stale urine and the lingering smell of blood. Did you survive the perils of the medieval marketplace? How about a stroll through the medieval countryside?